Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. For once, I'll cup of tea with me. So anyway, we had a bit of snow where I live, but it didn't last for that long. It does look quite nice out there anyway. You can probably see it. But anyway, hope everyone's well wherever you are. And yeah, I just thought I'd talk about some of my philanthropic charitable goals and dreams for the future, like helping charities, which I often talk about, like trying to find ways to fundraise for people across Africa and places like that, which I talked about before. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video as ever, and at the end of the video, please do that, or whenever you like, please let me know what you think, any ideas you didn't like or did like. As ever, please like the video and share if you can, be so kind, if you would be so kind, and hope you get to watch it all the way through and look out for parts 2 and 3 as well. And yeah, I think that will cover the intro because I don't want to waffle too much. But yeah, one of the things I would love to do is, just before I get onto my list, is to support, is to create like an NGO or work with NGOs which seek to support people in developing countries or colonized countries as anti-imperialists or whatnot, or as anti-poverty campaigners or whatnot, which look to support people in business and different areas of empowerment, including, like, say, for instance, the Aborigine or Maori communities in Australasia, or people of colour, especially across Australasia, especially Aborigines and Maoris and disadvantaged groups, and people from across Africa, especially Indigenous people and people of colour. Also, well, people of colour around the world, especially across Australasia, Africa, the Americas, and Asia, and also Latin America and Ireland as well. So anyway, here goes my list. So number 1, I would love to support black-owned or startups or people of colour creating their own startups, especially, as I say, in those countries or areas I've just mentioned, places like Kenya and South Africa and all over Africa, really, to even work together as well, cooperation with like Pan-Africanism and African unity, and like sort of, yeah, just to support each other and work together as one kind of, but yeah, to start up their own projects, including businesses and that sort of thing. So, and also teach each other, which brings me to point number 2, again, to learn from each other and teach each other. Like, bigger companies could also teach startups, and SMEs could also teach startups, like train each other, mentor each other, and teach each other, generally, and learn from each other and that sort of thing. So again, like networking and talking about what they can share with each other, and maybe like business people going to mentor, teach, train, and just generally support and volunteer with people across those places I've talked about, those aforementioned places, and that sort of thing. So yeah, just helping them as much as possible. Number 3, again, I'd love them to network together and like learn from each other, and people to just donate things and spend their time supporting those groups, and maybe even help people from Africa and Asia and places like that, especially people with dyslexia and other learning disabilities that I often talk about, to write to big companies, people who can like send them donations. In the future, I'd love to help people in across those places I've talked about, like my friend school in Kenya, for instance, like send them direct debits. So every so often, or however often possible, I'd love as many people as possible to give like £1 a day to things like to projects like my friend's school in Kenya, the Rare Gem School, and I hope God will bless them as much as possible, and obviously more than I ever could. And also other projects like Dyslexia, Help Africa, which I try and help on Facebook. I don't know if that's an official organisation or just on Facebook, but yeah, to help organisations like that, and maybe like build a network where they can cooperate with each other, and also look at again like organisations which could sponsor them and generally support them, which I hope to cover in more details. Number 4, again, I'd love to see like developing countries or colonized countries, countries that have been divided to network together, like countries especially from Africa and Asia and those other groups I talked about, like supporting each other, and again like social enterprises, supporting Aborigines and Maoris and people like that, and disadvantaged groups across developing or colonized countries, or both, as much as possible. And again, they could connect together and learn from each other as well. So people in Kenya who have done well could help people in the rest of Africa, like South Africa, Nigeria, and Cameroon, places like that. So hopefully like helping them to unite together, and Africa and Asia to sort of have cross cultural cooperation, so they learn about each other's cultures and get on a lot better with each other as well, especially like looking at what they have in common, like the fact they were colonized and that sort of thing, and working together to make peace, and that sort of thing. Number 5, I'd love to talk about my goals for like providing as much water, clean water, food, shelter, training, internet access, faster internet access, and that sort of thing for the countries I've talked about, like across those groups like Africa, Asia, Australasia, and places like that. And also, as I mentioned before, sorry to repeat myself, but as black people, and especially women, and especially black women, have been underrepresented in technology, I suppose the people who run tech companies are generally white male, so they probably subconsciously employ more people like them, and with a subconscious or unconscious sort of bias. So I think it would be great if like women from Africa especially, and also Australasia, as I say, Aborigines and Maoris especially, or people of colour generally, especially black, were empowered, again, especially women, and training young girls and that sort of thing in those communities and groups, and maybe even, as I say, they can train each other. But yeah, so in the case of Africa and Australasia, Aborigines and Maoris to be given funding and support, social enterprises supporting them to have like computers, training, faster internet access and things like that, so they can get better careers in the future as well, and also like teach each other, and also even maybe create their own businesses, as well as like work for big companies in some cases, and things like Microsoft and IBM, Oracle, sponsoring their own schools as well for young people, especially girls, especially black girls, or darker skinned girls and that sort of thing, so that they can become empowered. Number 6, I'd also love to fundraise for things like Italian football, with a bit of a bias of mine, and but yeah, so like I know that's contradicting a few of my other goals, but I think that's more of a selfish sort of idea, but maybe improving relations between Italian football or Italians through football and migrants or people from Africa and Asia, and those groups I talked about. Number 7, I'd love to do similar things for Celtic as well and support them, and encourage people from encourage Celtic supporters to do more charity like they used to do in parts of Africa and even Asia and those other groups I talked about as well. So I hope my fellow Celtic fans will support those groups as much as possible with their time, and also like I know they're not able to travel, but through like online virtual seminars, maybe teach things like teaching people English, or just offering their time and funding, and just try and support them as much as possible. Number 8, I'd love to network people of colour together to support each other as often potential victims of hate or things like that. So as people who are prejudiced, if you like, and working together against white supremacy. Again, apologies if I repeat a lot of these ideas, but I think like just to remind myself of those ideas and continue to work towards those goals. Number 9, I hope to look at how my paperwork or ideas and plans can be as helpful for as many people or living things even as possible, like look after animals and nature, planting trees, and just generally making the world a better place for as many people and living things and nature as possible. Number 10, I'd love to support young people, like young people from Africa and Asia and places like that, starting their own businesses, as well as supporting each other and being empowered. Like the youth are the future, so if they're empowered, they can do well for the future. So I'd say I hope I didn't waffle too much, and apologies if a lot of my ideas are repetitive, but as ever, I'd love to know what you think and how I did, and hopefully you'll be positive. But again, please comment whatever you want, and I hope you'll like the video and share it, as I say, and I'm out. Peace and love.